You're watching Life Report. Pro-life talk. Real-world answers. Life Report trains people to more effectively defend their pro-life beliefs while honestly examining the strengths and weaknesses of both sides. We're the show other pro-lifers may have warned you about. This is Life Report.
Welcome to Life Report.
Hello.
Producer Grace is standing behind the camera. She's laughing really hard at something. I don't know what she's laughing at, and it's a little bit uncomfortable for me because I don't know. Is this something I need to know? But whatever. Welcome to Life Report.
Well, Josh, I hate to tell you, but there's a really big piece of spinach between your front two teeth.
If that was true, that would be so bad. We're like, cut!
No. As a friend, I can honestly tell you, I would not say anything because it would enhance that show so much.
No. As a friend, you always tell someone when something is wrong.
In the end, you would have a lot more FaceTime on the show because we would never cut to me.
No, are you kidding me? It'd be awesome.
It would only be those really cool Steadicam shots from behind my head, looking at you guys.
The
that would be the
Steadicam
only
shots
time I'm in
would
there.
be so tight because it'd just be like, look,
it would be
this is
only on
Josh's
my
mouth.
forehead
No.
or my eyes, you know.
Producer Grace would zoom in.
Yes, exactly.
Right. It'd be awesome.
I think my
I'm
whole
inclined to
opening
agree.
line, just forget it. Okay, we're just gonna move on into the topic.
I thought that's why I was here.
Which we have a pretty good topic for today.
We have a
Pretty
great topic today.
revolutionary.
I didn't even know we were going to discuss this until this afternoon. That's how I just been look. Just,
how
I was gonna
prepared
say
you
this
were?
video. If you have not seen the video yet, go look at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Life Report. It's the defund Planned Parenthood video. By the time this airs on TV, it'll be a bit outdated. But like
by the time it airs on TV, Planned Parenthood could be our.
that would be so cool
That
if they
would be
were like their
amazing.
money was gone. But you can see the little video that maybe had a tiny role in that. Okay, we have a listener mail question
Awesome.
from one of our biggest. That's right. You know it. I've been doing that since episode 1.
Sorry.
To everybody from Matt in British Columbia.
Nice.
This is one of our Canadian.
Did you almost say Colombian?
Colombian.
You are
You are
Colombian.
Not Canadian.
Matt
I
is
said Colombian.
Canadian.
I understand it's Canada. This is one of our big fans. This is a guy who's
Awesome.
listened to every single episode. He wants to be a pro-life apologist, and this is a very good topic for us to be discussing.
Sounds like he is on his way to becoming a great pro-life apologist.
I'd say he's already there. He's already heard every single one of our episodes. What else do you need? He says, "Hey, Josh." Just kidding. Just so you know. But still. Still loving the podcast, though. Now that I'm all caught up, it seems to take forever in between each new one. Now, this was written like at least 3 months ago, maybe more. And there was this period where we were not putting up episodes very often because we were building the studio. So thank you for your patience, Matt. Now we're back to almost every weekly schedule. Schedule. He says, I'm writing this note to each of you seeking advice on how to respond to a friend of mine who just recently messaged me on Facebook concerning the things I post almost daily to my profile. Here is what she wrote me. Hey, Matt, I appreciate your passion for pro-life, but I want you to know you are making many women feel uncomfortable. Every time I log onto Facebook, I get a reminder of a painful time in my life when I see your posts and pics. So she's post-abortive. I get that it's a point you're trying to make. In order to see change, you need to get the message across, but I don't think Facebook is the place for such controversy. I think you need to talk to more women and girls who have experienced an abortion. Maybe you have, not sure. I don't want to offend you with your beliefs, but I'm offended as I read your comments, as you do not seem to take the women's feelings into consideration. You will likely respond that women who have abortions do not take our fetus's feelings into consideration and are selfish, but until you are in the situation, you will never understand. Yes, it is a decision that I live and think about still, but I do not regret having an abortion. I would never have gone to university and made the life I now have for myself. Probably if I had a more supportive family, my choice may have been different, but I respect my right to have a choice. I respect your opinion and agree that with more non-judgmental support and open-mindedness in society, less girls and women would consider abortion, which is ideal. However, I think you are taking the wrong approach. You seem to think women are making this decision lightly, which I know is not true. A lot of emotional pain and suffering is experienced by many. Personally, I think you should focus more on how to change these views of society on teen pregnancy and accepting young moms and single moms, rather than posting graphic comments focusing on the women. This is not an activist website, it is for social networking. And I am sorry, but I may need to delete you as a friend if you keep posting this stuff daily. Let's agree to disagree, no hard feelings. lines. Matt finishes the email by saying, "Thanks again for all your efforts, Matt in British Columbia."
Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
Okay. Gut responses. What do you think?
Facebook is an interesting place because there's so many different people. We find out that we're connected to many broad spans of people. I have lots of pro-life friends, lots of other, all these different areas of life. And I think one of the hardest parts of Facebook is knowing and abiding by the number one rule of communication, which is know your audience. Mm-hmm. And
which is almost impossible on Facebook because it's like a bulletin board.
I have some tips that we can go over later.
Okay.
but it is about knowing your audience, and obviously if you're talking to someone with this type of a history, and you have to take a very gentle approach and a very humanity or a very value of all humanity approach, which we should be taking, and realizing that those people are in our Facebook friends when we make posts. So not to say that Matt's posts were bad, and I don't know exactly what each of them were.
I don't either. I'm assuming because he listens to our show that he's not posting every single day Harder Truth or whatever. I mean, I assume he's posting probably articles, links, maybe links to our show, hopefully. Things like that, just to, or maybe even pro-life comments or thoughts or whatever.
But there's ways to frame things in a more positive light towards the women involved, and so that's something to really be aware of if you know that there are people like that in your audience for Facebook. And I can go over some tips and stuff how to maybe navigate Facebook, but we'll get to that.
And I wouldn't say I'm really torn, but I have arguments for both sides, and I don't really think they've fully developed in my mind completely yet. But
okay.
But
maybe you'll develop it by the end of today. By the end of half an hour.
They will be beautiful.
It will be.
You will see.
Always.
Facebook is it's shallow, really, at its core.
Yes.
That's all it is. And so for someone to where I post links all the time from many different things. A lot of them are pro-life because it is something that an issue that I feel very strongly about.
Right.
And I've gotten some responses and stuff about it. I mean, you do this daily, Josh.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know. It's very difficult because it is a bulletin board. You are simply spewing this information out there, and it's going to stick in places, and it's going to go places, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right. I see use for that, but also I think that's very difficult for situations like this and for many other things.
Right.
And so I don't know. Like it's not something that's I think you can say that it should be done this way or it shouldn't be. Right. It's not the best medium. I think it is it is nowhere near the best medium to have any type of discussion about the pro-life issue.
Yeah.
It is an area where it can be done.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be done well over Facebook.
I want to expand on that point just a little bit before we move on, because this is where I think I see some pro-life kids. So I have almost 1,300 friends now, most of which are just
so popular
pro-life people. Yeah, I just took the Facebook stats application. I'm in the 91st percentile of popularity or whatever. So I guess, which means that only 9% of people on Facebook have more friends they don't know. Is basically.
If you play the games, you have more friends.
That's true. Yeah, I don't play the games anymore. And so what. I probably know what maybe 150 or 200 of those people, but most of them are people that maybe like our show or pro-lifers just networking and stuff, which makes for even a different audience. Like I know when I post something that most of these people are pro-life people that are wanting the kind of links that I put up.
You're not Josh's friend unless you're looking for.
Yeah, so it does change things a little. So I'm not even going to try to make my situation as if this is everybody else. If you're, this is more for your situation. You've got people on both sides of the issue. You are not a full-time pro-life person. It's not what people are expecting when they go onto your Facebook wall.
Something interesting that, just to clarify that, was in the news feed recently, because of all the things that have been going on, I literally had, this was in order on my news feed. It was like pro-life comment, pro-life comment, pro-life comment, pro-choice, pro-life, and two pro-choice.
Interesting.
Literally, 3
Everyone's
to
talking
4.
about abortion no matter what side they're on.
Right. You've got Live Action, Josh Brom, Pro-Life Podcast, Stand with Planned Parenthood.
Right.
It's 3 other things.
Which means, sidebar, this is the kind of time where you want to be trying to talk with people about abortion that you've never talked to about it. Since the entire country is talking about this, even if they're pro-choice, this is one of those times where if you don't have a Justice for All college exhibit to stand in front of and talk to people, this is one of those chances where you try to find people that you've just never been able to have that comfortable conversation with in a non-awkward, weird way and get into a conversation.
But
yes,
okay, I do have pet peeves about Facebook.
Okay,
and I don't want to disrespect Matt and what he's doing, but one thing I don't like to see from people is the same post or the same type of posts every day. I have some friends who are pro-life, and every post they make is something pro-life.
Right.
And frankly, there's not exactly breaking news every day in the pro-life field.
Right.
You don't need to do that. I have friends who are sports fans, and every single post is about what happened in the football game.
Right.
I get to the point where I want to hide those friends just so I can see the other stuff. It clutters, and so I think a lot
of
people
quality
feel
over
that way.
over quantity.
Yeah, my strategy is, okay, people know I work in the pro-life movement. That's no secret. And I put it out there every now and then, but I save my status updates for information that I think really needs to get out.
It's really important.
And I'm very careful in how I present that because I want to, one, rally my own side.
Right.
But I also want to not push away people from the other side because it gets really, I don't have a lot of pro-choice friends who would post pro-choice status updates. Right. But if I saw one, it would really tick me off. It wouldn't.
Why?
Well, maybe not tick me off, but it would upset me, and then I would try to.
You'd want to beat them down.
You'd want to dialogue with them.
I would want to dialogue
with
them, but sometimes, just clogging. Have some fun with Facebook.
Right.
Use it for other things,
not just
so that
stuff.
People don't see you as a friend and only see pro-life posts.
Yeah. Okay. Which brings me to one of the things that I wanted to key in on something you said. I think this is really important. I think there are a lot of pro-life people, or at least some pro-life people. Certainly, some of my friends on Facebook, at least a few that I've seen, where these are people that are not working full time in the movement, but they're like the kind of at-home activists, and it appears to me. I can't know this for sure, but it appears to me there are some people that literally this is how they are active in the pro-life movement, is they're on Facebook finding links, they go out and searching for more links just so that they can put it up on Facebook, and it's at least 8 a day.
It's multiple in a
kind
day.
Of thing. Okay. And
you might have a...
And here's, I think, something really important. And there's been
saying?
a lot of discussion about this recently. There was an article, I think it was in the New Yorker, about this. A guy that was talking about whether Facebook is as good for social activism as some people think it is. And I'm not sure if I agree with all of his points, but one of the things I think he said was good was there are certain things that people used to do in revolutions and the civil rights movement. There are things that they did that, yes, it would have been maybe easier logistically to get a march together if you had Facebook or whatever. But you can't just expect by sitting at home behind your computer, you can be getting as much accomplished by putting up 8 Facebook links as you would be if you went out to pray outside Planned Parenthood or get involved in sidewalk counseling or 40 Days for Life or going to a college campus and talking to pro-choice people.
Well, it's not personal. It's like standing on the street corner with a sign, the end is near type of thing.
Except it's with your friends, though.
But,
not necessarily.
It doesn't become that if it's not.
It's one direction.
Right.
Okay.
Unless they comment.
But for them to comment, I would imagine because of Facebook, because of how much information is on it, because of how many times people comment.
Right.
And in this situation, for her to respond, there had been so much one-way traffic that she wanted to respond. And from this subject, for her to respond, she was not open to dialoguing.
Right.
She was so annoyed because she took on the stance on the other side, where you might be able to rally the troops on Facebook by putting stuff out. That I think could be useful.
Yeah.
For someone to respond on the other side of the issue.
Well, and to respond publicly on your post.
Or privately.
No, this was a private message.
It was privately.
Okay, but she gave the private message because
of all the
I
public
feel
posts.
that if she would feel threatened to put something.
She would. She knows that most of his friends are pro-life. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think for someone to you have I think really two extremes and not too much in the middle is you're going to have someone that just goes around looking for ways to get in arguments with people, which I can enjoy at times. It's okay, but that's not going to be fruitful at all.
Right.
Or the other extreme of that, which I think would be really the only two major times I think someone would respond on the other side of the issue for something like pro-life, is that or a situation like this where she has been hurt